Hello, my name is Mathias and welcome to the FPL Scope. And today I'm going to tell you about my zombie team and how it's looking after one game week. And spoilers, it's looking pretty good. Like, I'm pretty happy about the zombie team. And if you don't know, a zombie team is a team that's going to last you from game week 1 until game week 38 without any transfers, any chips used, any substitutions, no nothing. Only auto substitutions because you can't get away from that. But you're supposed to stay with the same team the whole season and see how it ends up. And I think it's going to end up pretty well with this team because there are a lot of good players. So let's just go straight ahead and look at the team and how they did in game week 1. So I'm going to just work my way through from goal until the striker and then talk about the bench finally as well. In goal, Andre Onana, kind of regretting that pick because for 5.0 it doesn't seem like Man United are that good defensively, but it's the first game of the season, and you have to remember that Man United had a terrible start to last season as well. They lost their first 2 games, conceded like 6 goals in their first 2 matches, and then they ended up with the most clean sheets in the league. So yeah, 9 lucky points for Onana anyway though, so the points will stay there. It's just maybe he's not the best goalkeeper, but like I said, that could turn around very quickly. But Man United really need to improve because that game week 1 performance was not good at all, even though they got 3 points and a clean sheet. Then we have Ben Chilwell, who looks awesome. Like, he looked as good as advertised, possibly even better. He played almost as like the most attacking player out of all the Chelsea players, and for a 5.5 defender, that's perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for across the season. We have the thing with Chilwell's injury issues though that might hamper him towards the end of the season, but we have a really strong bench, so I don't really worry that much about that either. If he's going to be out for a couple game weeks here and there, I think he's going to be great value in total, Chilwell, so really happy with that pick. Then we have Gabriel, who I think is going to come good eventually. He didn't start in game week 1, obviously, and that netted him 1 point. He got subbed on for 1 point, which is kind of annoying because that also happened with Gabriel Magalhaes, who got 1 point. But yeah, speaking of Gabriel first, before we move on to Gabriel and what I would have changed potentially. Gabriel, I think he's going to be the most nailed 5.0 defender for Man City. Maybe Rico Lewis for 4.5 will be a better pick eventually, especially if I put him on the bench, which I probably should have done if I started this all over again. But yeah, I also have Gabriel Magalhaes in my team, and honestly, if I was running this zombie team like as I would in real life, if I was paying attention and only did the zombie team, this is not a team that I've created in the actual game. This is just a team that I'm going to check up on every single week and see how it does. But if I had actually made a proper zombie team, I would have been able to see the news that Gabriel was not likely to start in his first match, which ended up happening, and I would have swapped him out either for Saliba or just changed the zombie team entirely. So, but yeah, I kind of didn't want to cheat. I wanted to present the same zombie squad that I presented last week because I did a video on this last week, and at that point, Gabriel seemed like a sure thing. Like, he seemed like one of the most nailed defenders in the league. He played every single game last season, and there was no reason to expect that he was going to be benched. But seeing as Jurien Timber is now injured, it was sort of a tactical decision. So I think Gabriel will play quite a lot of matches still this season. So it's not the worst pick. But if I was running this like a normal team, I would have swapped him out either for Saliba or maybe even like a cheaper defender and just put Joao Pedro into the starting lineup, who is on my bench, but we'll get to the bench eventually. Estupiñán though, he is just as good as advertised. I knew he was going to be really good this season. I've said this previously as well, I'm not looking to sell Estupiñán at all. I'm just going to keep him the whole season because he is amazing value for only 5.0. Like, he is almost as attacking, if not more attacking potentially in the future than Chilwell, and he plays for a really good team that's going to score a lot of goals. Estupiñán is going to be behind a lot of those goals, whether it's from assists or clean sheets, or not clean sheets, but whether it's from assists or goals. He's always going to get some clean sheets as well. So Estupiñán was a no-brainer for the zombie team, and yeah, it's looking really good after 1 game week as well, because it was running close to like 90 plus minutes for Estupiñán, and he only had 1 point, but I thought he looked fantastic anyway. So yeah. Even if he didn't get the 7 points, I think he would be a nailed-on pick for this zombie squad. Then in attack, we have Marcus Rashford, and I think Marcus Rashford, he did not look good the first game week. Man United, like I said, did not look good at all in the first game week, but I think Rashford is going to come good eventually. He played as like the striker with Garnacho on the left, and Garnacho was absolutely awful, so I expect Rashford to be moved back down to the left wing and have Sancho start as a striker, and then eventually Højlund come in as a starter for Man United, and that's going to help Rashford's production. So I'm not worried about Rashford, but at the same time, there's so many good midfielders that I'm slightly like worried for 9.0. Maybe I could have used that money otherwise. Maybe I could have gone up to Salah at some point if I was able to like adjust the squad entirely. So yeah, Rashford to be decided if he is a good pick or not, but I think he's going to come good. I think he was so good last season, and I think Man United will improve, like I said, both defensively and offensively. I think Man United will be much better towards the end of the season, or at least, or probably not even towards the end of the season, maybe even pretty soon they'll be a lot better. One pick that is not in any doubt at all is Bukayo Saka. However, he got 10 points from very little XG. As we normally know from Saka, he doesn't really need much XG to score. He's also a penalty taker, which is perfect for this team. I expect the penalties to go up a bit, actually, the next few weeks as well, because Man United really should have had a penalty given against them, against Wolverhampton. Wolverhampton really should have had a penalty, and the referees have said that it was a big mistake. VAR should have stepped in and fixed it. So I think as a reaction to that, we're going to see more VAR penalties the next few weeks. So for someone like Saka, who's a penalty taker, that's perfect. But yeah, Arsenal, some people have said that they looked like not that good at all against Nottingham Forest. I think it's partly due to like the XG numbers and the fact that they scored 2 goals really early in that game. It looked like they were in complete control for most of the match, for me at least. So I don't really think the Arsenal performance was that worrying at all. Then they conceded like a goal which was really well done by, I almost said Jesse Lingard. He doesn't play there anymore, but Anthony Elanga, another former Man United winger. But Elanga looked fantastic with the running up the wing with his pace, and he passed it to Taiwo Awoniyi, who also did really well. So that was just a really good goal from Nottingham Forest in general, and it sort of caught Arsenal off guard when they were feeling comfortable. And it got kind of like uncomfortable towards the end for Arsenal. But I think their performance was good, and equally I think Martinelli was also someone that he's been like really criticized after the game, even after that fantastic assist that he had. I think Martinelli looked great, and he had a couple of nice positions where he didn't receive the ball, so it doesn't really get counted in the stats and stuff. But I don't know, I'm higher on Martinelli than most people still, I think. So yeah, I'm not that worried about Martinelli, who is actually the vice captain as well, because I feel like he's more explosive for those game weeks that Haaland might miss, because Haaland is obviously the perma-captain on this team. But before we get to Haaland, we'll get to 2 picks that I'm really happy about in the Zombie squad, because they looked amazing in Game Week 1. The first one is James Maddison. He looks like the talisman for Spurs. He's going to be the main man getting the points for Ange Postecoglou's side. We still don't know if he's on penalties or not. Personally, I'd guess that either Son, who is the captain and sort of needs the goals to get the confidence that he's lacked the last year, I think he might be ahead of him in the pecking order. And at the same time, we also have Richarlison, who has a better penalty record than both of them. Son's penalty record is actually pretty bad. So if they're going straight by penalty record, I think it's going to be Richarlison. If they're going by like seniority of the team, being the captain and stuff, I think it's going to go up to Son. But potentially Maddison might take it. Maybe Maddison is second choice. Maybe he's even first choice as a penalty taker. But regardless of that, if he's the penalty taker or not, it doesn't really matter that much, because he is going to be the main man for Spurs. And for 7.5, that is a steal, being the main man for a super attacking side in Tottenham, who are going to be much better this season, especially going forward. So really happy about the Maddison pick. Really glad he's going to start every single week for the Zombie squad. And he's also someone I'm really looking into getting into my own squad as well. Another person that I wish I had in my own personal squad is Moussa Diaby, who looked every bit as good as I expected, because he is a fantastic player who should have played for a big 6 or like a major club in the Premier League. But he's gone to Aston Villa, and even though Aston Villa got absolutely demolished by Newcastle, they looked really good offensively, especially Diaby and Watkins. And Diaby is 1.5 less than Watkins, and I think he's going to be as good when it comes to points, or even better than Watkins, who potentially is on penalties, but he also misses a lot of penalties. But Diaby for 6.5, looking awesome. I think he still looks like the best 6.5 pick over the whole season, which is the point of this team. So he even started off really well, and they even have really good matches in like the next like 2 to 6 game weeks, just about. So yeah, Diaby, another great pick. I'm really happy about Diaby and Maddison, especially for this team. And the team in general looks really solid. Up front, we obviously have Erling Haaland. Don't really need to say much about him. He is the perma-captain for a reason. He got 13 points. He delivered as expected. And that's what we expect throughout the season. But if Haaland was to get injured or potentially even rested in some games and not play, we have a really good first sub in Julian Alvarez, who almost came off the bench for this team because we have two defenders, Guardiola and Gabriel, that didn't start, but both of them got subbed on really close to the final whistle, which was kind of annoying for this team. And if I would have done one change, it would have been swap out either Guardiola or Gabriel. They could have been nice bench options anyway, even if they are rotation players, but swapping out probably Gabriel with João Pedro on the bench and have João Pedro be in the starting lineup, because João Pedro looks fantastic as well. I really like the word fantastic, but João Pedro looks super good. Almost said fantastic again. But he's on penalties for Brighton. He had a major chance that he missed as well. He's only 5.5, which is great value. Can't really ask for much more. I think he's going to play a lot of matches for Brighton, even though Evan Ferguson is going to play more and more. And I think Enciso over the course of the season will be getting more and more game time as well. But João Pedro, if he was in the starting lineup for Gabriel, I think this zombie squad would have been close to perfect at least. And you would have had 6 more points from the first game week as well. We also have Destiny Udogie, who looked really good for Spurs. He's really attacking, and he actually had some nice defensive involvements as well. So he's completely nailed in the Spurs squad. I don't really know why people doubted that he was going to be nailed. I think it's because he's new to the Premier League, but he's going to be great as well. But he's the third bench option, so he's not going to play that much in the zombie squad. But for any other team as well, I have him in my personal team, and I'm really happy about owning him because the Spurs are going to be pretty good, at least going forward. Defensively, maybe not as much, but I think Destiny Udogie can get quite a lot of points. And then the backup goalkeeper is Turner. This is also someone I probably would have changed if I could at this moment, because Areola started the game for West Ham, so it seems like we have a 4.0 backup goalkeeper anyway. I also could upgrade it to a 4.5 goalkeeper, potentially, if I downgraded someone else. But at the same time, this is the zombie squad. Onana is going to play every game week that Man United play, so unless Man United get blanks, we get Onana every single game week, and the backup goalkeeper doesn't really matter that much. But if Man United go far in the Carabao Cup, go to the final like they did last season, or they go and reach the quarterfinals or semifinals or finals of the FA Cup, then Onana would have to be benched for some game weeks because they're going to blank. And in those game weeks, we need Turner to start. But I'm not so sure that's going to be the case over the course of the season, because it seems like Nottingham Forest are still looking to get Dean Henderson from Man United, incidentally. And if that happens, I think Henderson is going to be the starting goalkeeper. But for now, Turner is a decent backup, I guess. But I'm hoping Onana stays fit for the whole season. So in total, Onana 9 points, Chilwell 7, Guardiola and Gabriel got 1 point each, Estupiñán got 7 points, Rashford got 3, Saka got 10, Martinelli got 5, Maddison got 9, Diaby got 7, and Haaland got 13 times 2, which is 26 as the captain. And that resulted in 85 points in the first game week for the zombie squad, which is way more than I could have hoped for, really, because this team is supposed to last until game week 38. This was not optimized for game week 1, but it still scored 85 points, which is really good. And as we'll see in the next screen, where we'll see what's going to happen for the zombie team next game week, in game week 2, 85 points is enough to be 214,514 in the world right now, which is amazing. It's 4 points behind my own personal team that I have, which is obviously more optimized towards game week 1. So my own team was better, but not by that much. And to be honest, I wish I had this team personally going forward than my own personal team right about now, because Maddison looked fantastic, Diaby amazing, Alvarez is looking really good as well. So yeah, the only thing with compared to my team is that I have Salah in my own personal team, and he's going to be my captain in game week 2. So that's going to be interesting to see how Haaland does compared to Salah. Obviously, since this is kind of like a side project and I'm hoping that my main team is doing better, I obviously want Haaland to not do that well against Newcastle and Salah to do well. But for the zombie team, Haaland is the captain, and he's going to get a lot of points for them. So yeah, like I said, Gabriel could have been either benched or swapped out to Saliba. That's one of the issues. So now that they play Crystal Palace, don't really know if Gabriel is going to start or not. But at the same time, Timber injured, and Gabriel is going to start a lot of matches still this season. So I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. But looking at this team and looking at how many good attacking options we had this season, also in this team as well, with João Pedro and Julian Alvarez on the bench, I wish that I started with 3 defenders and then at least 7 attackers. Yeah, that's what you have as the most. So yeah, either way, 85 points, 4 points behind my own team, 42 points behind number 1, but you also got to take into account that number one also used bench boost, so that's another thing that the zombie squad has a disadvantage in case of not being able to use chips. But yeah, it's 42 points behind the team that used their chip already, and it's I think it's 33 points behind the best team that didn't use a chip. I think the best team has 117 points, I think, is the best team without either using triple captain or bench boosting in week 1. So not too far off number one after the first game week, and there's still room to improve. I think this zombie squad is going to be really good going forward. And this is not going to be a weekly thing. This is going to be more every 2 or 3 weeks, because I don't think it's going to be that interesting looking at the zombie squad every single week, because we know what the players have scored already, and it's going to be more fun to look back from the past 3 or 4 game weeks, I think, when we do these zombie squad updates. So on Tuesdays, you can expect the zombie squad every now and then, but sometimes there will not be a video on Tuesdays on this channel, but most times there will be a video, maybe something else, maybe differentials, maybe something other fun news from FPL or anything like that. So yeah, you can look forward to nice videos on Tuesdays as well, but the rest of the week is filled up. Mondays, just did the weekend walkthrough yesterday. You can check that video out as well after this one. And Wednesdays, it's going to be the weekly wildcard draft, and it's looking pretty good actually. I set it up before I did this video, and yeah, it's looking not entirely template as well, like the best possible team from Game Week 2 onwards, if you're starting now from Game Week 2 especially, or if you need a wildcard. The video tomorrow is going to be really helpful for you. And Thursday, I'm going to be doing the FPL Scope podcast, or releasing the FPL Scope podcast. I'm actually filming it tomorrow with Kevin, but that's when I speak with Kevin about his team and his prospects, and we also look at the best manager of the week. Oh, voice crack, sorry. We also look at the best manager of the week in our mini league. As you can see above me here, not the Zombie 2 in 2023-24, but above me, or above that even, it says join the FPL Scope mini league, and the league code is V9JT0D. That's a 0, not an O, so make sure to get that correct. And join the mini league, because a lot of people have joined the mini league throughout preseason. I think there's about 150 people in the mini league. And I'm actually only 3 points behind number one in the mini league, which is also really fun. I almost won the whole week and became the manager of the week myself. But we are going to feature the manager of the week in the actual video, in the podcast with Kevin. That is released on Thursday. And then on Friday, I'm going to do the team selection for my own team, just looking back at my own score from Game Week 1 and looking forward to Game Week 2. Any potential transfers, spoilers, probably not going to make a transfer, and what I'm looking into for the future with this team, and some people on my watch list as well. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for more videos. Subscribe if you want to watch all those types of videos in the future. I'm going to try to do it every single week, or I'm going to do it every single week when there is FPL. When there are international breaks, we'll see what I do. But either way, please subscribe, like this video if you liked it, if you like the zombie squad, if you like the zombie graphics and you think it's fun. Comment down below if you have any suggestions to how I can improve these zombie squad videos, or any other potential video ideas for Tuesdays. If there's something that I'm not covering that you would think or you would find interesting, then please comment down below if you have any interesting ideas. I'm more than welcome, or more than happy to see any ideas from you guys. So either way, that has been the zombie squad. It's looking really good. You can see all the fixtures for all the players. I'm not going to go through all the fixtures because that's kind of not that interesting. But yeah, that's been enough for me for the zombie team updates. And I hope you're having a good time. I hope you enjoy this channel, and I hope you subscribe, like I said. And I'll see you next time. So